It's his for the taking. Jim Moody is going to finish second on 20 points. Kirk McCarthy has done absolutely everything right here. I really don't believe, unless Kirk makes a bit of a mistake, he's not a slack when he leads a race. So Kirk McCarthy isn't frightened of going from the front. Really, this part of the track is very tricky, but Jimmy Moody, he is rising to the challenge that I'd expect him to. That surely Kirk McCarthy has done enough. He is going to win this race for Castrol Honda. V&M Yamaha are going to finish second. The championship is going to be 5 points closer now. Through the right-hander, McCarthy is almost home and dry. He just has to hold the bike flat out now in front of Moody. In third place on the road is Dean Thomas, but he will finish fourth behind Glenn Richards. I think the checkered flag for Kirk McCarthy. That was a job well done, Kirk. You really did time that to perfection. Jim Moody will appreciate that, even though it's cost him 5 points.
I don't think Kirk's seen the flag.
No, he hasn't seen the flag, as he's making sure of this. So Kirk McCarthy, he's going to go for an extra lap, but try and wear the bike out maybe.
Yes.
So McCarthy absolutely flying down through the gearbox, but it's McCarthy that wins 20 laps at an average on a 600cc road bike at 92 miles an hour. He's through Ireland, he still thinks he's racing. He's trying to beat our cameras. He's beaten Jim Moody and he's just making sure of it. Well, I have to say, I've been in this position before.
Have you?
Yeah, I have, where I didn't see the flag or my board, and I thought, just to make sure, I'll tell you what, it'd be an absolute disaster if he fell off on what should be the slowing down lap.
Well, it also...
I'll tell you what, this is going to be a real laugh when we get back to pit lane a bit later on, because obviously Jim Moody, he has quite a laugh with Kirk, but Kirk is on a real mission here. This is actually the slowing down lap. He's already won the race. I think he's just realised that. Jim Moody was second, Glenn Richards was third, Dean Thomas was fourth, Howard Whitby was fifth, Wolsey Coulter having a one-off ride, well, not a one-off ride, but having one of the few rides on Supersport, finishing just, that's Roger Harvey, ringing through no doubt to Bob McMillan, the man who effectively sacked Jim Moody earlier on in the TT. Dunlop Phil's Plater getting the shake of the hands there. Work well done. Pirelli beaten into second place, as were Yamaha. So of course Honda and Dunlop extremely happy about that.
And old Harv definitely with a smile on his face,
yes.
Which you couldn't say about Snetterton, could you?
Yes, well, there's still a bit of a story running, of course, about Jim Moody and Honda. They've got to sort out their differences regarding contracts just yet.
Whoops.
But it is Kirk McCarthy under contract to Castrol Honda, doing a superb job for Castrol Honda. Roger Harvey is happy, and well he might be. Jimmy Moody then beaten by half a second into second place. Revenge must be sweet for Honda over the Yamaha boy. Glenn Richards third, Dean Thomas fourth after a 10-second penalty, but of course if he gets that back, well, he'll move in front of Glenn Richards for third place if he gets it back, if he bothers indeed to protest that. Howard Whitby a fine fifth, Wolsey Coulter a good sixth. Now Wolsey Coulter, really one of my favourite riders. I'd expect to see a lot more from him. Go back to the 250s, Wolsey, you were good on then. John McGuinness 7th, 8th was Scott Smart. Dave Johnson in 9th place, Steve Brogan in 10th, Danny Beaumont, Luke Quigley, Jamie Morley, Paul Jones in 14th, Pete Jennings there, the 600cc riding Pete Jennings.
First Kawasaki.
And we're still waiting for Kirk to come round. I tell you, he's a boy, isn't he?
Oh, that could have been a record for a slowdown lap, in fact. I was waiting for the fastest lap caption to come up after the slowdown lap, which was...
Jim Moody with a big smile across his face, if about nothing else. It's certainly about Kirk McCarthy trying to blow him off.
Well, as you say, the 8 points was the lead in the championship. It's now 3 points, Keith. So it's just what you want and just what you expect from a Supersport championship, of course.
Yeah, Supersport's great class, and with this one really is very, very close indeed. There is Jimmy Moody, and with Jim is, of course, one of our trackside reporters.
Yeah, it's Jonathan, and Jim, now we know why you wanted to save your tyres. You want to do extra laps.
Did we? I don't know.
You had your head down after the checkered flag. You were just going for another half lap, I thought.
Yeah, well, I had a little bit of grip problems from half distance, and I was just trying to keep the guys behind me. I knew if I could keep them behind me, it wouldn't be too bad. And then when Cut got in front of me, I really had to try everything I could to catch him back up, but I just couldn't quite do it.
Good battle, though. That's what we like to see, and like you say, all the way from halfway. But as we get a burnout going on just behind us, that's your mate. It was a good little battle between you.
Yeah, it's good. He deserved it. He rode brilliant.
Yeah. So then, what about the rest of the year? This is the burning question on all of our minds. These two great races, what happens now?
Well, hopefully V&M and Yamaha will get their heads together, and maybe somebody will come up with a better budget, and we'll finish the year off, hopefully.
All right, well, it looks as though Claire's got Kirk at the moment, so I'll go over to you, Claire.
I certainly have. He's got a bit of a celebration burnout going on here. If I can just get him to whip his helmet off, Kirk. How many people want to congratulate you here? Nice bit of water in the face, cool you down. Bit of a celebration lap at the end there going on. Wasn't too sure whether you realised that was a cool down lap or not.
Sorry, Claire.
You're right. You cool yourself down. You look a bit hot out there.
Yeah, it was a bit of hard work actually. I didn't know if I was going to get by him or not. Just hang on at the end, had it sliding around and tried to make the most of it. No, it was good. But going like a weapon.
Of course, and as we expect with Supersport racing, real close, but now you're closing the gap on the championship points, of course, which is the important thing.
I couldn't afford to let Jim get ahead and have Dean in between us because that was just going to make it a lot harder work for later, but luckily we got some points back and hopefully we can capitalise on it now.
You need to catch your breath. Congratulations to you. Now, is Jonathan there with man number 3, Glenn Richards?
Yeah, obviously a little bit confusing because of Thomas being out there. He got a 10-second penalty. How aware were you of what was going on actually in terms of the overall positions?
Well, they had P3 on my board, so I worked out that somebody in front of me had jumped the start. But I did see Dino move, and he probably only done it by a little bit, so it's pretty hard luck for him, really.
As always, a tough race out there.
It was really hard for me, so I was just losing a bit of time off the turns, and I just couldn't quite stay with them, so I had to settle for points.
What about the overall championship? Points are so important, and you've got some good ones today.
Yeah, unfortunately the 2 guys in front of me in the championship, they beat me today, so it's not really that good for me, but you know, 3rd place is still good because I didn't expect to get 3rd. I thought I was going to be 4th.
Why? Just because you were having problems because of Thomas?
Yeah, I couldn't carry their speed, so but we'll see what we can do next round.
Yeah, well done again.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
And you can see the world round, of course, with us next time round, or should I say the British round, here on Sky Sports. We are waiting for the boys to go to the top of the podium, but almost more importantly, we have got the British Superbikes Race 2 coming up here from Silverstone. We're going to take a short break. Lots of action coming live very soon. You're back with us live at Silverstone as Nick Barnes from Suzuki hands over the winning laurel to the Castrol Honda winner, Jim Moody. Absolutely blasts Kirk McCarthy straight in the ear with a bottle of champagne. Glenn Richards, his compatriot, lines up alongside him. Great scenes. These men are all good friends. Jim Moody is happy, even finishing 2nd. Great stuff indeed. Well, there you are. That's what it looks like on the podium. You're back up here on the Sky Sports balcony. Next up, it's the big one, or should I say the 2nd big one of the day. The British Superbikes are just out on their sighting lap now over my shoulder. And I can tell you there is one hell of a lot of talent down there on the grid. Let's take a look then at a reminder of what we've just seen, the Supersports. Here it is then, at the start. Now, Dean Thomas. Did he jump or was he pushed? Keep an eye on him because he just jumped the start and got a 10-second penalty. No problems for 21 Jim Moody though, as he blasted up towards Copse with Kirk McCarthy right up the inside. McCarthy then on the brakes, absolutely superb. Jim Moody goes in the 2nd at Copse. This is only the opening lap. Jim Moody though, not to be outdone, slide through on lap 1. We're still on lap 1 and these two are at it hammer and tong. Kirk McCarthy goes 2nd, and at this point we still haven't learned about the 10-second penalty for Dean Thomas. Dean Thomas didn't know either. He moved up on lap 4 in front of McCarthy, chasing Jim Moody, the race leader. Then it was Chris Vermeulen down pit lane. Well, one of the challengers for the series out on the Sanyo Honda. Dean Thomas now knows that he's got a 10-second penalty for a jump start. It made no difference whatsoever. He decided to try and get all that back and lead from the front. So Thomas on bike 6 went through on 21 Jim Moody to take the lead on the road, but was down in 8th place on the corrected time after the penalty. Well, not to be outdone again, all these men absolutely on the pace. Through goes Kirk McCarthy to take Jim Moody. And that is about the championship. McCarthy versus Moody, even though Dean Thomas leads. Now, Jim Moody has had enough of seeing the Ducati in front of him. Jim Moody knows that Dean Thomas has got a penalty. Doesn't matter though, he still wants to lead on the road too. Moody went through. Kirk McCarthy is 2nd in the championship. and then went second on the road, taking Dean Thomas and following through in Jim Moody's slipstream. McCarthy seemed to have something up his